is wrong. There could be no win for white supremacy here. If blacks proved to be the cowards that the whole theory of slavery painted them as, the battle would literally be lost. But much worse, should they fight effectively and prove themselves capable of good Negro government, then the larger war could never be won. The central thread of this book is 8 articles written during the 8 years of the first black presidency, a period of good Negro government. Obama was elected amid widespread panic and, in his 8 years, emerged as a caretaker and measured architect. He established the framework of a national health care system from a conservative model. He prevented an economic collapse and neglected to prosecute those largely responsible for that collapse. He ended state-sanctioned torture, but continued the generational war in the Middle East. His family, the charming and beautiful wife, the lovely daughters, the dog, seemed pulled from the Brooks Brothers catalog. He was not a revolutionary. He steered clear of major scandal, corruption, and bribery. He was deliberate to a fault, saw himself as the keeper of his country's sacred legacy, and if he was bothered by his country's sins, he ultimately believed it to be a force of good in the world. In short, Obama, his family, and his administration were a walking advertisement for the ease with which black people could be fully integrated into the unthreatening mainstream of American culture, politics, and myth. And that was always the problem. One strain of African American thought holds that it is a violent black recklessness, the black gangster, the black rioter, that strikes the ultimate terror in white America. Perhaps it does, in the most individual sense. But in the collective sense, what this country really fears is black respectability, good Negro government. It applauds, even celebrates, good Negro government in the unthreatening abstract, the Cosby Show, for instance. But when it becomes clear that good Negro government might, in any way, empower actual Negroes over actual whites, then the fear sets in, the affirmative action charges begin, and birtherism emerges. And this is because, at its core, those American myths have never been colorless. They cannot be extricated from the whole theory of slavery, which holds that an entire class of people carry peonage in their blood. That peon class provided the foundation on which all those myths and conceptions were built. And as much as we can theoretically imagine a seamless black integration into the American myth, the white part of this country remembers the myth as it was conceived. I think the old fear of good Negro government has much explanatory power for what might seem a shocking turn: the election of Donald Trump. It has been said that the first black presidency was mostly symbolic, a dismissal that deeply underestimates the power of symbols. Symbols don't just represent reality, but can become tools to change it. The symbolic power of Barack Obama's presidency, that whiteness was no longer strong enough to prevent peons from taking up residence in the castle, assaulted the most deeply rooted notions of white supremacy and instilled fear in its adherents and beneficiaries. And it was that fear that gave the symbols Donald Trump deployed, the symbols of racism, enough potency to make him president, and thus put him in position to injure the world. There is a basic assumption in this country, one black people are not immune to, which holds that if blacks comport themselves in a way that accords with middle-class values, if they are polite, educated, and virtuous, then all the fruits of America will be open to them. In its most vulgar form, this theory of personal good Negro government denies the existence of racism and white supremacy as meaningful forces in American life. In its more nuanced and reputable form, the theory pitches itself as an equal complement to anti-racism. But the argument made in much of this book is that good Negro government, personal and political, often augments the very white supremacy it seeks to combat. That is what happened to Thomas Miller and his colleagues in